have our third presentation on exploration. Most of you guys know Jason from the cave diving section. And one day I went to Helm's Deep, and I was going in the dry maze, and I saw all these people carrying tanks and stuff like that, and I didn't want to get too close because I thought they might ask me to carry something. So, diving Helm's Deep, a significant emotional event. Oh, he changed the subtitle. Look at that. It's great. I love it.
Hey, good morning, guys. My name's Jason. So my talk will be much shorter because I have done much less than the likes of Jim and the rest of the guys. So I'm just going to talk about the essentially about 800 feet of passage that I've seen in Helm's Deep, barring the entranceway, and what went on there, and probably the way forward, hopefully. So this is when I first got asked to come out here, Jonathan, through some of the other folks, had asked me to, hey, we got a big spring, the water's clear, it's flowing really well.
So today the water's up enough to where it sums out here.
We got is there volume?
There's gotta be.
That is out of control.
Go ahead, put it to my volume.
Bob, volume issue?
You need to go to my Samsung.
Bob, I'll turn it down. There you go. I think it's done. All right. Just stay close.
Yeah, right. So
today the water's up.
I got this video from Jonathan that he'd taken while he was out front looking at it, and of course my first thought is, man, this is awesome. Look how clear the water is. Yeah, there's a lot of it, and the entrance looks pretty big. And the initial discussion at that time was, well, we think that it's coming right out from there. And, our cell phone videos on, it's how it is. So we kind of thought that there might be a downstream right there, even though most of the water was flowing out there. If you got a little dive mask in and stuck your head in the water, it kind of appeared that there might be another downstream right there where there's waters coming out from under the rock. So we're like, well, we'll check it, see what's happening, see what the upstream looks like. There's obviously a lot of water. And I justified things to myself because when you look at water on the surface and it's flowing really fast, it's never really flowing that fast in the water once your whole body is in it. It looks much worse from the surface. So I look at that rate of flow going from the top. I'm like, oh, well, it's going pretty fast, but it couldn't be that bad. I was not correct. So defiantly, I got in my gear. We had some people haul tanks down there. Ryan and Liz Hoffman helped us on the first trip. The sump was beautiful, of course. It's deceptively calm there because you're not close enough to the water to see how it's making whitecaps. And we decided to get into the water and see what was going to happen. That should have been my first indication, is once we had tanks and everything in there, it was making a wake in front of me just sitting in the water. And despite all that, I will say that the amount of water and the pace of water, I've been cave diving for 30 years for you that don't know me. I've only been in 2 other caves that flow this fast. One down in the valley below Watla, and another Weeki Wachee Spring down in Florida. And when you get into a cave that feels like you're climbing without rope up a cliff, and you're having to pull your way through the water, probably ought to be thinking about other places to go on vacation. So ultimately, we'll go to the sketch here. Ultimately, this is the entrance here, the spring that we've been looking at. And once we got around the corner, it was pretty immediately obvious that there wasn't any downstream going off in that direction. And what happened is it turns into a little tiny channel that's following all the way up here, a pretty big breakdown room that you can walk all the way up to the side. And it just follows the edge of this breakdown room in a little tiny channel. Well, the downside to it is because of the high flow, most of it is clay bottom and clay walls. So when you're in the water and you're trying to make progress and the flow is so high that you can't really kick to move forward, you resort to pulling yourself on things. And when the floor, the ceiling, the walls are all clay, all that breaks away from you because you're trying to pull, you're putting a lot of weight on it. And clay is not really a weight supporting material. And all that's left is a little tiny chert ledge on the left side that you could take your hand and grip with both hands along the chert ledge and pull yourself forward. In addition to that, in a couple of places there's rocks that have fallen down diagonally, and so now you have this passage that's probably this wide by about that high, with rocks that have fallen blocked diagonally that you have to squeeze through. And going upstream, like, well, you know, I do a lot of small stuff, it's not that bad. Really not thinking in my head how that was going to look coming back out. And so I passed a couple of restrictions like that. You know, things that you could push a rock around a little bit, that you could get your elbows around and push forward and move forward. And eventually, once I got past the most upper pool that you could see from the walking area, and in reality, you know, we figured out later that that's where we should have got in, not back here where the water looks nice. So once you get past there, all of a sudden the passage widens out. You're out of this really, you know, dangerous, narrow stuff in the back. The passage is probably 25, 30 feet wide, maybe 3 feet high, and the flow drops off a little bit, not significantly, but a little bit, enough that you could kick and move forward. So starting from there, I start kicking forward. We got about 800 feet of line in there. I'm running out of breath because I'm working so hard. Again, I can't really pull on the floors because the clay just breaks out as soon as you put any weight on it. And at about 800 feet, linear feet, I decide now this is it. I'm going to call it. Found something to tie off in the middle of the passage, cut the line, tie off. And looking forward, yeah, visibility's pretty good. It's deceptively good in the entrance. It's probably 6 feet, 7 feet, not just enough you can barely see either wall, but not all the way across if you've been on one side. But definitely good enough for some diving. So at that point, decided to turn around. I've got everything tied off. We're all secured. Turn around and look at, you know, what was nice and clear ahead of me is now zero visibility because I've been blowing the clay out all the way behind me. And so now I realize that blowing the clay out with zero visibility through all of those restrictions where I had to have a certain body position tilted one way or the other to get past the rock. And if I don't get it right, there's no way I can back up because your fins are going the back way, the water's pushing your tanks forward, and it's kind of a one-way shot. So you get it right or you don't. So I got lucky, I got it right. It was a significant emotional event. That's the name of that. And what going in took me almost, oddly, with that much flow, took me almost as long to get out because there was a lot of getting jammed in the front, trying to tuck the tanks, trying to roll into position where I could get past the restrictions. And so it was not pleasant. Ultimately, we would come back for a second dive. Some of the other regular cavers helped us carry tanks out to the beach out here. Chrissy and I carried them up to the front, and we did start at this position. We had some issues with survey gear, so not much extra work got done. But I think ultimately, going forward, there's some other tools we can involve. There's a small scooter called a Seacraft Go, and I think that's probably going to be the answer, is having some mechanical assistance, getting us forward in the water so you don't smoke yourself out just trying to swim up there. But on the upside, we got a little bit of dry survey done, got that to turn in, so we felt like we contributed somewhat. That is not the last slide. Let's see if we can manually up here.
Jason, were you going upriver?
Upriver, yes. Yeah, so the and here's one of the little walkthroughs. Let's see if it'll play, there we go. And Liz and Ryan watched me come through there. And they're like, oh man, that kind of looks like it's tough. And yeah, I'm getting smoke going through there, and they have no idea. They're like, oh, it looks so pretty. I'm like, so, but you kind of get an idea of what's going on. Like, oh, there he goes. Yeah, probably could have got in here and saved a whole bunch of effort. Yeah. So, but as I said, the cave isn't big, and when you see me go past, you're like, oh, he's really kind of taking up most of the passage. Trying to get through there. Yeah. Now hold the line, pull both arms, hold the line, pull both arms. And, of course, the visibility behind me is going to zero. Yeah. So things you wish you'd known when you started.
There's a lovely start right there.
But yeah, you can start right here, which is what we ended up doing later. But ultimately, that is where we got into the second dive. And if we do another one in there, which we'd like to, that's where we'll start on the next dive. But it's all technology and tools and a little bit of me trying to forget how bad it was from the last time. Okay, so coming out, you saw the visibility in the beginning. It was really nice. Not so nice after we're all done. You know, coming just feeling like I'll swim as far as we can to the gear. It looked bad. Yeah, it was bad. It was every bit as bad as it looks. Okay, I don't know why it's doing them twice. But here's my crew, my hall crew from that first trip. Ryan and Liz helped me out, and of course we look like everybody else that comes out of there, looking pretty dirty. But that's pretty much it. So we didn't produce a bunch, which is not how I like to do things, but we did get a feel for what's going on there. And without a doubt, the upstream is still going in. It's shallow. Most of it is 3 to 4 feet. You're not burning through a bunch of gas. If you weren't doing a full day's cardio workout while you were in the water, it probably wouldn't be as bad. But I think, again, bringing tools like a little Seacraft Go or something like that would significantly ease trying to get through there. And with the water being that shallow, there's a very good chance that it's going to open up into some other portion of dry passage above it if it stays like that. So there is definitely potential for moving on past the water into some other piece of the cave, since I don't believe that there's much else in that direction. So it does have potential. So that's all I have. Thanks for listening. And,